I'm here with Rick Witter from Shed 7. Rick, thanks for joining Loaded today.
Darren, thank you very much for having me.
No problem at all. It's hard to know where to start. It's been a fantastic year for the band. Obviously, relentless touring schedule, sellout gigs, new music, old music, reorchestrated. But let's start with the obvious one. 2 #1 albums. Has it even sunk in yet?
Well, as you said, we've had a really busy year. We haven't really stopped, so it's been difficult to stop and, like my dad used to tell me, smell the roses, appreciate what's happening to you.
Yep.
Which we never did in the 90s. We were young, we were naive, we were full of bravado. We probably at that point believed that we expected it and when's the next bit of success coming?
Yeah.
That stops for a while and it kind of re-emerges again. And now, as older gentlemen, we understand what's happening to us a lot more and we're really loving it. But we haven't really had a chance to stop and compute what's exactly has happened this year yet.
Right, well, we spoke to Sean Ryder recently and he was saying that he's enjoying it so much more now because he feels more in control. Obviously, the lack of perhaps partying that he's doing, but obviously his ADHD kicks in. Sometimes he doesn't remember stuff. But he said that he's enjoying the whole process a lot more than he did 30 years ago. Would you say the same thing?
I think that comes a lot with age and experience. And as I've just said, finding the time to appreciate what's happening and really soaking it in. Yeah, I mean, it's been such an amazing year for us and one we'll always look back on. I think our biggest ever year in the past was 1996, which was quite a big year for us.
Yep.
And this supersedes that, really. This is just gone through the roof.
Does it feel more satisfying because you're self-managed now?
Massively so. I mean, we're very independent. We're on an indie label. We're doing it all ourselves. Paul, the guitarist, is absolutely incredible. He's taken on a whole new lease of life with what we're doing. Everything that you see with Shed 7 is us doing it. Every decision that's made is us. I mean, we tried to do that a bit in the 90s when we were on a major label. But they've got their own divisions within the label. They've got the artwork section and they like to have their opinions and they like to feel like they're doing their job.
Yep.
But it's our art, so you can't diss our art, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those things create their own problems, whereas now we're on top of everything, and the funny thing is, in the past, we'd perhaps be together as a group and we'd be discussing things and we'd have silly ideas and laugh about it and go, wouldn't that be brilliant? And then that idea would be watered down or someone within the band would say, oh no, I don't really like that. And then suddenly you're not doing it. Whereas now, over the past few years, pretty much every idea we're coming out with, be it silly or not, we're doing.
Yep.
And the silliness of it is pushed to one side because we're actually really cool.
Sure. So that makes sense. You said in a recent interview you've learned to behave more. Do you think that's another
Well, I think we've
reason
learned to appreciate what's happening and take it on board as opposed to believing that we deserve everything that happens to us. As I said, when we were kind of 21, we swung on the music scene and we think we're the best thing ever, when clearly we're just part of a group of other things that are going on, and now we understand that. So, when you hear bands that still go on saying we're better than you, it just doesn't make any sense because music's for everybody and you just pick and choose. You don't have to like one thing and one thing only.
This is it. It's not like a football team.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the two albums this year, Matter of Time, Liquid Gold. First of all, you spoiled us with a whole lot of new music, and I mean the absolute belters of tunes. And if that wasn't enough, you could have gone the greatest hits route. You could easily have gone. No one would have blamed you, Rick, if you'd gone the greatest hits route after 30 years. But you have pretty much spoilt the fans by doing an orchestrated version of your classic tunes. I'm one of these stick in the muds who says, don't tamper with the classics. I don't like remixes. Just like the originals as they are. But Liquid Gold's got me completely turned around on that. I absolutely love it. And there's except one song. Okay, I'm going to be controversial here. I think there's one tune on there that is better. In my humble opinion.
Oh, I thought we were going the other way.
No, we're going Devil in Your Shoes.
Right, okay.
I think it's exactly how I think it should have sounded. It's always been one of my favourite tracks.
Well, there you go, because this is exactly why we did it. We kind of thought, why don't we reimagine some of our old hits, or not even the hits, some album tracks, and make them sound like we've just written them for the first time. So obviously we went back and we revisited and we sat and listened to the songs that we chose and listened to them how they were, and thought, how can we modernise this without losing the essence basically all we've done is we've had feels to feels, and if you're going to put an orchestra on it, that's going to give it even more feels. So it's a very emotional thing, and I think that's coming across, and I think our hardcore fan base who know the original so well, who might have been worried that we're desecrating on our grave, so to speak, they're actually totally astounded that it's the other way. You know, I mean, we would never ever dream of ruining our history. And, you know, there's songs on there like we had to do Chasing Rainbows. It's our biggest song. And we were really worried about that one. And we've spent a long time agonising over it. And we hope that what people hear now understand where we're going with it. And from what we're seeing on social media, people are going, it's just added feels. And it's all about emotion. I mean, that particular song, so many people over the years have said, you know, I buried my family member to that, or I buried a friend to it, or we got married to that song.
I actually said to my wife the other day, this is a song I want at my funeral. I actually said that.
Right, okay.
Is that okay?
Well, of course it is.
That's
You
fantastic.
go for it,
So I'm not doing it unless Rick approves. So.
well, you go for it, and I'll be
do you
there.
know what?
I'll give you a clap. But you know, these songs mean so much to people.
Absolutely,
and we understand that, and we don't. You know, I mean, as I say, putting an orchestra on anything takes it to a whole different place anyway, and a whole different level of emotion. So it was really lovely for us to look back on what we've created in the past and just lift it that little bit more, you know. And we're really conscious of doing that rather than just re-releasing a greatest hits that you touched upon. We were thinking it's our 30th anniversary. We don't own the rights to a lot of these songs, so a record label might come along and say, right, let's put that old stuff in a new bit of artwork and sell it to the same old people who've been buying it for years. Cool. You know, not only have people bought it as a single, they might have bought it on an album, and then they've bought 3 or 4 greatest hits we've had in the past anyway. So we wanted to kind of cut that off before it was a thing. And it's worked really well. So for us, Liquid Gold is kind of like a love letter to our fans for the support over 30 years.
That makes total sense. You got a lot of praise, obviously, you got a lot of support from other bands in your attempt to get to number 1 again. And you had some praise recently. You had a tweet from Liam Gallagher. Did that surprise you?
Well, I thought it was a lovely thing for him to do. I mean, we don't ever expect anything of anybody, and we never have. And we've had our run-ins with Oasis over the years, through the 90s. But equally, we've bumped into them, and they've been really lovely. So, it depends what mood people are in at the time when you see them. He didn't need to do that, and it was a lovely thing for him to do, and we're very thankful for him for saying respect, because that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about, absolutely. So, I mean, it would be remiss of me not to ask the obvious follow-up question. Would that be a nod to a potential support slot next year?
Not up to us to say, is it?
Well, do you know, a wise man once said, I never say never, ever.
He did. That wise man.
So, 2003, you took a short break, 2003, and you reconvened about 3 or 4 years later. Almost like straight away, you've gone from 0 to 100. For me, when you came back, you made a big noise. Did it surprise you how much the fans missed you?
Yes, it did. And for us, it took a little bit of time to get used to that, because, as you say, we kind of stopped in 2003, and then the down years, I think we all just missed playing live, because, when you were a young kid, which is how we started, how I met Paul, we were 11 when we met, and we started writing songs when we were 13. And the reason you do that is because you want to strap a guitar over you, get on a stage and show off in front of people. That's why you do it. So after 4 years of not doing that, it was like, I really miss playing live. I miss doing gigs. That's what we do. So we kind of thought, why don't we just book 4 or 5 gigs, various parts of the country, 1,000 capacity venues. Let's just go out and play our songs for our own benefit. And then we had to add loads of gigs. We had to upgrade venues because the ticket demand was so high. And we're a bit shocked by that, because we're thinking, well, when we weren't doing anything, no one was asking us why we're not doing anything. But then the greatest thing of that was we're going out on stage and we're playing songs that are like 11, 12 years old. And everyone's singing every word, like it really meant something to them. And and this is what I mean about in the 90s, when we were really young, we're just doing it. And we're moving on to the next thing. And it's like, you've got to go to Spain now, or where's the next album? So you're just doing it, and you're not really computing the success you're having. So it was only in around about 2007, 2009, when we're seeing these people of our age growing up with us, and they're singing every word and looking like they're having the best time. It's like, oh wow, wow. So what we wrote in our kitchens, or wherever we wrote that song,
You're part of people's lives.
Yeah, and we're seeing that even now. I mean, we're obviously in our early 50s now, and people from our age group who were coming way back when are now coming, but they're bringing their 8-year-olds with them. But the 8-year-olds are looking like they're having a nice time. They're not dragged there under suffering.
Yeah, cool.
They're singing every word.
Yep.
So it's
the demographics.
I keep saying we will be the new Rolling Stones.
Fantastic.
If these new generations of kids keep coming,
yep,
I'll be 84, walking out with a Zimmer frame.
Well, I think something that you could be the new Cliff Richard. This is why I think a Christmas album is surely on the cards at some point. If I don't see a Sled 7 Christmas album in my lifetime, I'll be very disappointed. So just quickly then, briefly, just winding up the future. Next year, you've got 3 big summer dates to celebrate this year's success. Tell us a little bit about that.
So yes, we booked the Scarborough Open Air Theatre in June, and we're at Castlefield Bowl in Manchester and Leeds Millennium Square in July. A celebratory kind of 3 open air summer gigs. Fingers crossed the weather will be good. They're looking like they're well on the way to being sold out already, which is amazing.
Yep.
And it'll just be a massive celebration, all the hits, a huge sing-along, hopefully.
Fantastic.
As long as people drink responsibly.
Of course, or absolutely. Now, I just want to take you back to 1995, if I may. You played at the Cambridge Junction. Now, you probably don't remember. I know you don't remember a lot of the 90s.
Well, 95, we were quite quiet. So we did have one single out in 95, weirdly. Where We Been Tonight came out, so we might have been promoting that.
I think, bizarrely, I think it was the day after you appeared or the day before on a Saturday morning TV show.
So that will definitely be 96 then. 96,
okay.
Yeah.
So your memory's better than mine there. So 96, so I was walking to the junction to see yourselves. I was a little bit worse for wear for the drink. Oh, okay, I'll admit. And who did I spot on the other side of the road? Your good self, walking to the junction, probably from the Earl Derby pub, I don't know. And I did what any drunken fan would have done in that situation. I raised
something at me.
No, not quite as bad as that. But I raised my hand and I went, Rick! and you completely ignored me. Which was the right thing to do. It could have been the start of, a baby reindeer kind of, baby rainbow maybe.
Or a beautiful relationship.
Or a beautiful relationship. But so it was the right thing to do. But I think, 30 years ago, it's been kind of playing on my mind. Is there any chance we could reenact that now? But this time you kind of say, all right, mate.
I can say all right, mate, to you. Are we going to pretend this is Cambridge?
Well, just pretend this is Cambridge. Lots of bikes around. Just imagine a lot of bikes around. Okay, right. I'll just get into character. Ricky! Oh no, so that's Bianca from EastEnders. Rick!
All right, mate.
Yes!
Slow down on the drink, will you?
Oh, all right, cheers, all right, we'll do, pal. Oh, 30 years of therapy wasted, honestly. Right, so just one final question. Your latest video I saw was Getting Better. It's always been a feel-good song, and everybody's joining in, members of the public, possibly fans, and everyone's getting involved, and it's just a huge celebration. So I guess my question here really is, can I be in your next video?
Yeah, I'm sure. We'll have a word with Paul and we'll see what he thinks, because that's
not a no.
They're his babies.
Rick, thanks very much.
Nice one.
Go catch him on tour. Shed 7, they're getting better all the time.
We're going for goals. We're not chasing rainbows.
Just keep it coming, Rick.
We're on standby.